Where you at? I'm here to teach you how to eat a crawfish. Now, a lot of people who live in New Orleans and thereabouts think they know how to eat a crawfish, but they do not. This is the definitive method. This is how you do it. First, you need a beer. No doubt about that. You must have a cold beer. And you need some newspaper. Now, people say newspapers are becoming obsolete, but we will always need newspapers because you can't eat crawfish on the internet, right? Right. So, here we go. First step is decapitation. Let's get in close, camera lady, and get a view of the crawfish. Now, you see him, tail here, head is here. The first step is decapitation. Now, before you go snap his head off, look at the shell here that protects the tail. This is basically armor that protects this crawfish when he's in the wild, but now he's in my hands. And by giving this a squeeze like this, as we're popping the head off, we can make a fine, subtle crack right down the middle of this armor. And that's going to make it easier to extract the tail when the time comes. So I'm squeezing here, not hard, and you see my fingers here together, so I'm going to quickly decapitate. Okay? Easy enough. Let's put his head down, and now we're left with the tail. Now, you'll see people go peeling these sections of the shell off. That is doing nothing but slowing you down, and it'll cut up your fingers. You'll be a mess. And there's no need for that. This is much easier, much more efficient. Only way to go. You can break that little leg off if you want. Okay. Here he is. Now, what we're using is a slight pinch here, but more of a push. We're pushing the tail out that way as we are pulling from this way with my teeth here, right? Okay? So, I'm going to do this, push him out that way, and now have a look. Intact, right? This is empty. You got the whole thing right there. Good. Now, don't like to talk with my mouth full here, but that's hard to avoid. Now, these crawfish are cold. They've been in the refrigerator. That's how I prefer them. That makes me a minority, I believe. Everybody I know, most people like them hot. I like them cold because what is inside the head of this crawfish is the most delicious, unique flavor. It's fat. That's what they call it. I don't know if it's really fat, but the fat is the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. And when the crawfish are hot, everything in the head, it's running out, it's all over here, it's everywhere. It's a big mess. Don't get me wrong, I can eat crawfish hot. But like beer, crawfish are much better cold. So, the fact that I'm eating them cold gives me permission to use my finger to get out the fat. So, here we are, let's get close. That's what his head looks like from the back after it's been ripped off. To open his head, we just give it a pull like that. Now, here's where I'll pull my finger in there and do this. Now have a look at that. Now that's nice and yellow and pretty. Sometimes it's not so nice looking. Sometimes it's black and ugly. I think if we could find a way to harvest this, to remove this from the heads of crawfish in quantity, if we could put this in jars, we could make $1 billion. It's the best tasting thing in the world, but it's very hard to collect. I mean, look how much do you get out of each one, and look at the work involved. Well, I don't call it work, but oh, I dropped some on the paper. But that's good. And then, now you know, sucking heads when they're hot, but I think cold is the way to go. Let's try one more. And then I'm not going to take it step by step. We're just going to do it. That's it. This is a good beer to go with a crawfish. Any crawfish ball is better with Pabst Blue Ribbon. And other beers, you want your lighter tasting beers, I think, that don't overwhelm the taste of the crawfish. You know, the heavy IPAs. I mean, I wouldn't turn one away, but this is a good beer to drink with crawfish. Okay, that's it, I think. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, ask somebody else. And that's it. Okay.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, that's a wrap.